Hello everyone. So in this lecture, we are going to talk about some of the conditional statements and loops that are used in Python. In the previous lecture, we have talked about variables and data types. I hope that any one of you don't have any doubt in the previous lecture, and we will move ahead in this lecture with conditional statements and loops. So for that, I will use the same code editor, that is VS Code, and I would make a file and name it as second.py because this is our second lecture. And the topic first we will be covering is conditional statements. So in our daily lives, we encounter a lot of conditions, such as if we want to vote to a specific party, we have a minimum age of 18, and if we have to pass and get to another class, our marks should be a minimum of 33. So there are a lot of conditions which we encounter in our daily lives. The same conditions we will be encountering in Python as well. So the first conditional statement that I would be covering is if-else statement. I would be teaching you this statement with the example first, then we would be covering its syntax. So first of all, we write our keyword if. Uh, Before if keyword, we would make a variable and assign it a value age, in which we assign a value 18. Now, first we would make a keyword if, and after that we will use parentheses in which we write our condition. Suppose we want to check whether a person can vote or not. So if a person has to vote, his her minimum age should be 18. So we will write here the condition age should be greater than equals to 18, and we will use semicolon at the end of the condition to show that this line has ended. And now we would be moving to the next line with an indentation. Indentation is necessary after a semicolon because it is a Python syntax in if-else statement. So if age is greater than equal to 18, we know he she can vote. So we will be printing he she can vote. Now after this, there are two conditions, whether he can vote or not. So in the first statement, we have seen that he she can vote because his age is greater than or equals to 18. Suppose the user has an age less than 18, so he she can't vote. So the next case, there are two outcomes, whether true or false. So the next case would be else, in which we would be writing that he she can't vote. After else, you also have to put a semicolon which suggests that we are moving to the next line and this line has been ended. So in this line, we would be printing he she can't vote. Now I would be printing this. As you can see, age is 18, which is greater than or equals to. So he she can vote. And you can see he she can vote is printed on the screen. And now let me take you with another simpler example. Suppose we have to find whether a given number is odd or even. And we will taking the number as input from the user itself. As you have seen that I have already taught you in the previous lecture how to take input and typecast it to integer type. So we would be entering our number, enter your number. And if we have to find whether a given number is odd or even, it should be completely divisible by 2 and give the remainder 0, so that it is called a even number. And for that, we will first use our keyword if, which suggests that we are checking a condition. And we would be checking if the number is giving 0 when divided by 2. So if it is giving 0, we will print even. There are two conditions, else it is even or it is odd. So we have checked the condition for even. Now we would be checking it for odd. So we will use our keyword else. I have already told you that we can't use keyword as our variable name because it would give an error. In the else condition, we would print odd. Now if we take the number as input from the user, see, it is asking us a number. Suppose we enter 5. It is a odd number, so it would be giving odd because it is when it is divided by 2, it doesn't give remainder 0. So you can see it is giving odd. Suppose we enter another number. Suppose this time we enter 4, which is divisible by 2 and gives the remainder 0. So when we would be entering it, it is given even. So this is the basic case. This is the case of even odd. Suppose if we have to check whether a number is divisible by 5, we can simply just uh, write 5 in case of 2 and check whether the number is divisible by 5 or not. Here we would be changing our print statement divisible by 5, and we can after that print our number as well. And simply we would be changing this one as well. And simply in this we also can print our number. Now if we check it for a number 10 which is divisible by 5, it is giving divisible by 5 and the number itself, that is 10. So simply we can check it for a number which is not divisible by 5. For example 37, it is not divisible by 5. So this is the simpler Python program which we can use with the help of if else condition. Now suppose in this case in this examples we have discussed, there are only two cases, uh, if or else. There are only two conditions. Now suppose if we have a multiple conditions, suppose if we want to check whether the traffic light is green, yellow or red. So there are multiple conditions. For that we use if else statement. Let me tell you with an example. In this we can check multiple statements. For example, we have to check whether a given light is green, yellow or red in the traffic light. Suppose we take a variable light which is currently green, and if we want to check uh, what to do if the light is green. So if the light is green we have to go. So we would be putting it in the if condition. And you have to remember that if we are checking something, we have to use double equals to. In maths we use single equals to for the equality, but in Python we use double equals to. So we know if light is green, we have to print go. And In this case, we have multiple statements, green, red and yellow. So we will use elif statement, which also checks a condition. Suppose if our light is yellow, we know we have to wait. So it would be printing wait. And in case of else statement, we can also use a multiple elif statement. So we would be using a multiple elif statement. And the last case would be if light is red. And you know if light is red, we have to stop. So it would be printing stop. Now you can see our light is green. So it would be printing go. As you can see, it is printing go. One thing that you have to keep in mind is that if our if statement goes right, the program would be ended directly. But if the if statement is false, it would move to the elif condition. And if the elif condition is false, it would go to another elif. And suppose if we have a else statement added to it, suppose we add a else statement as well, which suggests there are three cases. Either the light should be green, yellow, red. And if the light is none of it, so it means the meter is broken. This means we can print light is broken. So suppose we enter none of the options, green, yellow and red. We enter a color blue. This means the meter is broken. So it would So if all the if and elif conditions are false, then only the else condition would be printed. As you can see, light is broken, it is printing. So, and one thing also you have to keep in mind. Suppose if I print anything outside the if elif else condition, suppose I print end of program, it would be printing the same end of program after light is broken because it is out of the if loop. As you can see, first it is printing light is broken, after that end of program. So if the condition is outside if elif else, it would print the outside statement, that is end of program. Now one another example that I would be taking is that suppose you have to calculate a student's marks and give him some grade based on his marks. Suppose we would take marks as input from the user and we would be typecasting it to integer type. Suppose we took marks as input. Suppose if marks are greater than 90 and we would be using our logical operator AND, which suggests both our conditions should be true, that is marks should be greater than 90 and marks should be less than 100 because marks should not be greater than 100. So it should print grade A. And another, there are multiple statements, so we would use elif block. It suggests if marks are greater than 80 but marks are less than 90. So it should be printing grade B. And another condition we can check is if marks are greater than 70 and marks are less than 80. So it would be printing grade C. Oh, sorry. Now it would print grade C. One more condition we can add in it. If marks are greater than 60 and marks are less than 70, it would print grade D. Now you can see we have checked multiple if else condition. We can also add an else condition that is grade E. Now if we would try to print, suppose we enter our marks as 90, so it should be printing grade A. Sorry, we have to give some condition as well. Let me remove this part. Now if we would be printing if suppose we marks take 90. Let me see what is the error coming. Let me take another terminal. This terminal is I am killing the terminal. Suppose I enter my marks 90. It is not printing because of a terminal mistake. Suppose we take marks as 90. It is not printing. Let me see the error. I think there is an internal error. If you would try running it on your code, VS Code, it would print the same code. But it is due to some errors. Let me check the upper code whether it is running or not. Let me comment it out and we would be checking the our light example. Let's see. Yeah, it is printing light is broken. Suppose we check it for green color. It is printing go and end of program. So I think there is no error in our mark statement, but it is due to some internal error it is not printing. The same code if you try on your VS Code it would print easily. So you can just uh, see the concept that I have used with the help of comparison operators and logical operators. The same code if you would run on your VS Code it would run. There is no doubt, and if any error or doubt occurs, you can let me ask in the comment section. So now we would be moving to our next topic that is nested if condition. Don't be afraid of what we are going to do in nested if. It is a very simple concept. It suggests that you can use an if condition inside another if condition. Suppose uh, you want to see whether someone can drive or not. So, as you know, age should be let me take age should be more than 20 to drive. Suppose I take age as 21 and in the if condition, suppose I take age should be greater than equals to 20. So, in the if condition, we would be using another if condition that is age should be less than 80 as well. First, we check if age is greater than equals to 20 or not. And if it passes, then we would check another condition age should be less than 80. So it would print can drive. And in the else condition, we would be we would be printing can't drive. So now we have a variable age that is having a value 21. So you can see it satisfies the first condition that is age is greater than 20. And inside the if condition it is also satisfying that age is less than 80. So it should be printed can drive. As you can see, can drive. So let me take the age now as 80, 81. So you can see age is greater than 20, but age if in the next if condition age is less than, age should be less than 80, but it is greater. So it would come out of the if loop and would be uh, printing the else condition, that is cannot drive. As now you can see, 1 second. Let me change the terminal. Let me try to run it in new terminal. Sometimes you have to update the terminal if you have write too much programs. I think I have written something wrong. I think it is due to the age. Let me take the age as 80. Let me delete it out and we would be printing. Yeah, it is printing can drive. Similarly, you can use nested if condition. Let me change it to another. Rewrite it. I can see I have written something wrong. That is why it is not printing. Now if I had checked if age is greater than 20, that is true. Now age should be greater than 81 to drive. So it would print can drive. In the else condition we would be writing cannot drive. So let me try to run this time. Now you can see it is printing can drive. But I think I have to take the age as input from the user because our the error was coming due to the fact that our age was already 80 and 80 can't be greater than 81, so it was printing wrong. So now if we try to print by taking input and putting the value as 80, it is still giving the wrong because our age is greater 80 is less than 81, so it would return false. So you can see this code, it's a little mismatch in this code, I guess. So now we would be reaching to our next topic, that is loops. But now what is a loop? Loop is basically a you can say a code that we write to perform a task in a loop. For example, you listen music on Spotify. So we put the song on loop so that it is running again and again after ending. And suppose on YouTube or Spotify, like I said, you can use the loop statement, the loop setting to run the song on a loop. So in Python, similar, if we have to run a program again and again, so we use a loop. There are two types of loop, for loop and while loop. So we would be covering for loop first. The syntax for loop is, for example, for loop is used to iterate. Iterate is basically printing each word in a statement one by one. Suppose we have a string, that is Python. Okay, so if we want to print each and every letter of Python, suppose first we have to print P, then Y, then T, then H, up to so on. So if we want to print each statement, each word of Python, so we would be using for loop. So we would be using our keyword for first, then any variable. Suppose I took I. For I in, we would be using our in keyword that suggests we are iterating over something. For I in string, because we are iterating over string, then we would be using semicolon. Now I would print I. Now see the result. See, first it is printing P, then Y, then T, then H, then O, then N. It is printing one by one. So it is iterating over the string. Let me explain once again. Suppose we have a string and I want to print each and every letter of the string. So first I would be using for loop, then a variable. You can take any. I have taken I. Suppose we have I as a variable. You can see VS Code is suggesting I as a variable in. So we would be using in keyword that suggests I is uh, basically iterating over string for I in string. So then we would be printing our I. We can take the similar example in list as well. Though we haven't covered list till now, but we would be covering in the upcoming lectures. So till now, see what we can do in list. Suppose we have list and we store the all the elements of list in a square bracket. Suppose we have elements like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and we want to print each and every letter of a string. So we would be using our for keyword, then any variables which you can take where in, because we are iterating over the list. For where in list, because we are iterating over list. For where in list, we would be printing our where. Now see the result. It is printing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 in the next lines. So in this way, we can use our for loop. We would be covering for loop in very detail while we would be covering list comprehension, set comprehension, because it is massively used in those concepts. Now there are many you can say roles of for loop. We can write for loops in very different ways. Suppose we have to print number from 1 to 10. uh, the similar the first method is you store a as 1, b as b as 2, and then you would print. It would become a long method. So with the help of for loop it becomes very easy. We would be first using for, then a any keyword, like I have told, sorry, keyword, uh, we would not be using keyword, we would be using a variable. Suppose I took I. For I in, we will be using our keyword in. Then range, we would be using range, which specifies what particular amount we have to go. So suppose we have to print number from 1 to 10. Uh, let's take the example of 1 to 5, then we would be taking 1 to 10. So uh, in the range, we first have to enter from where we have to start our number. We have to start it from 1. So we would be entering 1. And in the next case, we have to enter till how much we have to go to the end. Means till when you have to print the numbers. So we have to print the numbers till 10, including 10. So in Python, in range function, it does not include the last number that we enter. So if we enter a number greater than the last number, then it would only print till 10. Suppose if I take the example of 11. So if I take the example of 11, till only it prints number till 10, because it would not print uh, 10 if we enter 1 to 10. Let me uh, help you with while running the program. So if I print now I, so you can see it is printing 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it is printing 1 to 10, as you can see. But if we would take 10, it would not count the last number. So it would print 1 to 9. As you can see, number is printing till 9, not 10, because it doesn't include the last number. So if you have to also include the last number, you have to enter a value plus 1 more than it. So, and now suppose you have to print only even numbers. So even numbers start from 2, we know, and we have to print all the even numbers till 11. Sorry, till 10. So we will include 11 in it, not 10, because it would not count the last digit. So uh, now these are first, the first two is known as start, from where we have to start. The next 11 is called uh, our end index, where we have to end the value. And in the last, there is one more thing, that is step. How much step we have to put forward. For example, by default it is 1, but if we enter 2 in it, so after 2 there would be a gap of 2 numbers, because we have entered 2. That is a step. As you can see, VS Code is suggesting start, sports index, start after stop, and then step, which means step means how much numbers you have to cover up. Basically, I want only even numbers. So after 2, I want 4. So I want a gap of 2 numbers. So there would be a gap of 2 numbers, because I have written 2 in the step. So now if I print it, it would print only the even number 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Because we start with 2 and end with 11. That means we have to end with 10. So, but now we want a gap of 2. So we put a step of 2. Like uh, sometimes uh, while we are climbing the stairs, sometimes small kids put a step of 2, 3, like that. Till we don't have to do these things at home, because it's very risky, but just like an example. So if we want a step of 2, we can enter 2, and you can see the result. After 2 it is printing 4, then 6, then 8, then 10. So this is the uh, basically use case of for loop. Now if I want to print a number up to 100 and only I want even numbers, so we can use for I in range, and we want to start with 2 but end with 100, so we would be putting a number 1 more, so 101, and a index, basically a step of 2, so that it covers only even number, a gap of 2 is coming. Then we would be using semicolon, which is very important, and then we would be printing our I. Now if I print it, you can see it is having a step of 2, 100, 98, 96, like this. So you can see this thing. Now we have covered for loops and conditional statements in a very good way with a lot of questions. Now we would be covering while loop. So in while loop, what we do, we first mark a variable. For example, we make a variable I. So in the while condition, first we will use our keyword while, then we would put a parenthesis, then in the while parenthesis we would be writing our condition. Suppose we have to print numbers from 1 to 5. So print numbers from 1 to 5. So first I take a variable I, which would I would be taking the variable before I apply the while loop. So in the while parenthesis we would be applying condition till when the loop, till how much time and till how end the loop will be running. For example, I want the number to be printing till 5. So I have started from 1. So I want I should be less than equals to 5. So it would be printing till I becomes less than equals to 5. So then I would be using our semicolon and print I. It's very easy. Now I would be printing it. Okay, so there is an error coming. Let me figure it out. Let me check the error. Wait, let me open a new terminal, then check the error. Oh, the biggest mistake that we have done. It is most common. That is, we have rent I. That is no problem. But suppose, let me explain you step by step. Suppose I is 1. 1 is less than 5, so it would print 1. Now we are not updating the value, so we have to update the value as well. We would be printing I equals to I plus 1, but we have already discussed that we can use assignment operator in this case, which would be like I plus equals to 1, which would be easy, and more simpler than this is I plus plus. This is the basically you can use I equals to I plus 1, which is more easy for now. So now let me help it from basics. Suppose we have I1. 1 is less than 5, so it would print 1. Now it would update the value. Now I would become 1 plus 1 2. Now it would check again in the condition. Is 2 less than 5? Yes. So it would print 2. Now it would update the condition. It becomes 3. So 3 is less than 5. So it would print 3. Now it would come with a value 4. So 4 is less than 5. So it would print 4. Now it would check for another updation and the value of I becomes 5. So 5 is less than equals to 5. So it would print 5. Now the value 5 becomes 6. So I becomes 6. 6 is never less than 5. So it would come out of the loop and print only till 5. So we have with the but the most important thing is we have to update the value. Now if I try running this, one second. Yeah, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So sometimes you have to kill the terminal because it lags or some issues occur from internal side. So it's completely okay. Now we have seen the while condition. Now if we want to print numbers from 1 to 100, we can print that. We simply write 1 to 100. So if we start from 1, now you can see we are printing numbers 1 to 100. So it's very easy to use while loop. Suppose now we have to print numbers in reverse order. Suppose we have to print numbers from 5 to 1. So we would be starting our I from 5 because we have to print in reverse order. So in this condition, our I should be greater than equal to 1. Only then it would be printing because see 5. 5 is greater than 1. So it would print I. But if in the time of updation, we would minus the value of I because we want to go in reverse order. So we would be doing minus. So I minus 1. So after 5 is printed, then it would update. Now the value of I becomes 4. 4 is less than 1. So it would print 4. Now 3, the value becomes of I. So 3 is less than 1, so it would print 3. Now the value of I becomes 2, so 2 is less than 1, it would print 2. In this case, when 1 comes, it would print 1 and the loop ends because 0 is not greater than equals to 1. So I would try running this program. Again, the terminal has some issues. Hmm. Let me sort it out by opening a new terminal. It's journal in VS Code. Like you can see 54321. So it's very easy while using while loop. Now if we want to print a factorial of a number using while loop, so we can do that as well. Factorial of a number. Since I would be teaching first what a factorial is. So factorial is basically suppose you have a number 5 and you want to print the factorial of it. So factorial is written like this 5 factorial. So it is like 5, it means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Basically in reverse order we are multiplying the numbers. This is factorial with one number is decreasing at a step. So this is basically a factorial. So suppose we have taking a number input. Uh, Before taking input, let me take a number 5 and a iterable. I is known as generally iterable in Python or any language, but still we can use it as a variable. There is no problem in it. Suppose we use our for loop for finding the factorial. So we would be writing for I in range because we are iterating over the number. For I in range, we have to find the factorial of the number. So we would be starting from 1 and then n plus 1. We have to find the factorial. So we would be taking our factorial as well, a factorial variable, which we would be assigning 1 in the starting. So you can see we have used for loop and iterable I. Let me delete this. Suppose we have 4I in range. We are iterating over the number. We want to multiply factorial into equals to I. So we would be using our assignment operator in this case. And the value of I would be updating. That is I is equals to I plus 1. Now we would be printing our factorial, which we would be printing after the for loop ends. So if we print fact, which is our factorial. Now, if we try running this, you can see factorial of 5 is 120, which you can see. So let me explain you this code in a very simpler manner. Suppose we have a number 5, we have to find a factorial of it. So we take a factorial variable which starts from 1. So when I use for loop, I would iterate over each and every number. First, it would print like in this case. First, it would print 5. Then it would multiply with 4. Then 3. Then 2. Then 1. Like this. And if I use for loop and iterate over it, so I have used 1 because we start from 1 and the number is 5. So I would take a number more than 5, a number plus 1, because it doesn't include a a number. It includes the number plus 1, the for loop. In the for loop, we use fact into I. Factorial is multiplied by I. So after that, we are updating the value of I. So that first I is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Then at last we are printing factorial. So this was the case of factorial. We can also do that with the help of while loop. This would be your homework.